The Redmi Note 10 Pro Max is setting the standard high for budget phones in 2021. The phone is well spec'd on paper, but how does it translate when it comes to day-to-day usage? In this video, you are going to find out. It comes with the industry standard 120Hz refresh rate and a 240Hz touch sampling rate. The Snapdragon 720G on the 9 Pro is replaced with the 732G on the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max. We have a 6.67-inch AMOLED display, which is one of the biggest upgrades coming from the Redmi Note 9 Pro. There is a 108-megapixel main camera on this phone, and the camera sensor is made by Samsung. The variant with me here has 128 gigs of storage and 8 gigs of RAM, which is the highest configuration available. It retails for 140,000 naira or $339. Other storage options include 6 gigs RAM and 64 gig storage, or 128 gig storage and 6 gigs RAM. We also have a 5020 mAh battery, same with what we had on the Redmi Note 9 Pro. The specs look so perfect that you might think there are no compromises on this phone. In this video, I'll share my thoughts after using this phone for some weeks. In case you are interested in buying the phone, you can get it at lombarddial.com. I'll leave links in the description for more details. The Redmi Note 10 Pro Max is the same with the Redmi Note 10 Pro, just to be clear. The phone is made of glass at the front and back, but the frame is made of plastic. This is the same design that we had on the Redmi Note 9 Pro that I reviewed earlier this year. Xiaomi did well by adding an IP53 rating, which means the device can resist some splash of water and dust. I have the Glacier Blue, and it is one of the best colors available. The Glacier Blue has a color combination of sky blue and white, and depending on how the light reflects it, it shines in an amazing way. It doesn't show fingerprint smudges easily, and the TPU case Xiaomi bundled in the box gives you a better grip. The display is flat with slightly curved edges, and there is a Gorilla Glass 5 protecting the display. We have very minimal chin and bezels, more details on the display in a bit. The punch hole camera cutout on the display is small when you compare it to that of the Redmi Note 10. It's good to see that Xiaomi kept the headphone jack on this phone, and to do it even better, we have two speakers on this device, one at the top and the other at the bottom. Some high-end phones lack this single feature. The fingerprint scanner also doubles as the unlock key, and it's fast when unlocking the phone. At the back, we have a quad camera setup, and I love the placement of the camera. Even though it protrudes a little bit outside the phone, it doesn't wobble when placed on a flat surface. The camera design is unique, and they adopted it for the entire Redmi Note 10 series. The device charges via USB-C, and the second speaker is at the bottom. As usual, we have an IR blaster and a mic at the top, not also forgetting the speaker grille. One advantage of this speaker system is that even while holding the game in a horizontal position, you don't block the speakers. The phone is surprisingly lightweight to hold in the hand, even though it can be slippery because of the glass back. If you have sweaty palms like mine, it's best if you use the case it came with. One of the major reasons why the Redmi Note 10 Pro might be the best budget phone of 2021 is the display. The choice of AMOLED for the display was a great decision by Xiaomi, especially when the Note 9 Pro had an IPS LCD display. Xiaomi still maintained the same 6.67-inch size display of the Redmi Note 9 Pro. The resolution is still capped at 1080p, and that is an area where we can say compromises were made. The resolution is still okay in my opinion. Streaming content on YouTube is great, as well as watching Netflix movies. The cutout at the top center of the phone doesn't distract you while watching content, but it is noticeable. The display has a 120Hz refresh rate and a 240Hz touch sampling rate. Scrolling is swift, responsive and smooth. You can choose to keep the refresh rate at 120Hz or the standard 60Hz. One important thing you need to know, however, is that the refresh rate does not work dynamically, even though Xiaomi is telling us that this is an adaptive refresh rate panel. There are times when the display kicks itself back to the standard 60Hz refresh rate. Same applies to when you keep the phone. It reduces the refresh rate to save battery. When you are under direct sunlight, the display is really bright and you don't have any issues with visibility. It can get to as high as 700 nits of brightness when it's in auto brightness. You can turn on the sunlight boost in the display setting to crank it up even higher. For those that are interested, you can tweak the color scheme of your display to your taste inside the display setting. Dark mode also helps you save battery since it's an AMOLED display. When playing games like Call of Duty Mobile, the high refresh rate is noticeable. We also have an always-on display and every other thing that comes with an AMOLED panel. The display is great and it is definitely one of the main highlights of this phone. Personally, I'm not a fan of the MIUI skin on Android, but surprisingly, after setting up the phone, it came with few pre-installed apps. The last Redmi I used was the 9 Pro, and I remember it came packed with some apps that I couldn't remove. The MIUI 12 is refined and Xiaomi tried to optimize it better in a way that it will consume less power. With the MIUI 12, you get to choose if you want an app drawer or not. The always-on display allows you to customize lights that will pop up on the edge if there is notification on your phone. There are themes, wallpapers and fonts that you can use to customize the phone in your preferred way. You can also set the fingerprint scanner to touch or press depending on how fast you want it. The notification shed kind of mocks iPhone, and there are a lot of shortcuts you can create on the home screen. I really wish it came with some super wallpapers like we had on the Redmi Note 9 Pro, but it seems you can't eat your cake and have it. The device runs on Android 11 and it's one of the first Redmi phones to do so. System-wide dark mode is available here, and the task manager still keeps your recent apps in 2 columns. When it comes to performance, the Snapdragon 732G handles gaming and multitasking in a remarkable way. This is the same chipset inside the Poco S3, and it is amazing to see this chip being used at this price point. Rest assured, no matter what you throw at this phone, it will handle it comfortably. The GPU is the Adreno 618 and it does quite well. I tested the one with the highest configuration and I didn't face any issues. Apps load super fast and there is great app retention in the background. The camera on this phone is amazing. It produces some colorful pictures with great details. The main camera is a 108 megapixel sensor that looks like an overkill. We have an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, a 5 megapixel macro camera and another 2 megapixel depth sensor. I love everything about the camera, but the 10x zoom lacks detail. I handed the phone to some of my friends and they were happy with how the pictures turned out. I also used the device to shoot the entire video of the Edifier X3 that will be linked below. It shoots at 4K 30 frames per second. The front facing camera is a 60 megapixel shooter that gets the job done. The Redmi Note 10 Pro Max is powered by a 5020 mAh battery and it is built to last an entire day, even during hard usage. The battery here is amazing and casual users can get up to 2 days battery life if they use it with the standard 60Hz. For me, I keep it at 120Hz all the time and I still get around 25% battery left before the end of the day. The 33W charger gets the device from 0 to 50 in 30 minutes and it takes between 85 to 90 minutes to charge the phone from 0 to 100. There are barely any faults you can find on this device, and if Xiaomi would have added few features on this phone, then it would have been a proper flagship killer. This device sounds and looks like a better buy in every aspect, and I see most people going for it ahead of the Samsung Galaxy A72. Right now, this is one of the best value for money phones out there. When it comes to deciding on whether to buy, my honest opinion will be yes. If you made it this far in this video, then you sub to the channel will bang. Thanks, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.